So this is Gopinath. I'm a solution architect from Moondraft Innovation Labs. So that's about me, and you can have a touch in with me on the LinkedIn, Facebook, and the Twitter. I've been more active in the LinkedIn. So today topic we are going to talk about the future proofing the customer experience, right? On the powered by the Drupal website. So I'm just like to give you some points, right? Which is about if you recollect yourself, maybe 10 to 15 years before, it was a very early stage of internet, early stage of the social media network, social media connect over the digital. This all was very quite less that time, like 15 years before. The people used to go to the shop and they will buy the watches, right? They will used to ask one question: will the watch will be the waterproof, right? So that you might be heard about that time. And after when you just come go just 10 to 10 years before, right? 10 years before, people will start asking the same question: waterproof is a mobile smartphone is as waterproof, because the people is investing more onto the mobile phone that time. It's a very booming of the mobile technology, smartphones, right? So now people it has been, they have started asking, is my website is a future proof, right? Because people started investing more onto the website. They want to have their presentation to the outside world, how what are they are doing, and what is their business, and what is their products, how can they reach to the customer to get the customer, and they want to sustain with the customer the long life. So these all the different problems they have today into the digital world, right? So that is important word we have to keep on asking ourselves, whether our website is being made as a future proof, right? Especially onto the Drupal. That's our friend today. Yeah. So this is what I'm going to cover you next 45 minutes, right? And the first I'm going to take you onto the website lifespan. What has been website lifespan, and we have been got into the our minds, and the web page transformation. So far, when you started the web development, what is the transformation on the web pages, and modern development culture, which is you cannot ignore anymore. That's one of the important thing we are going to look in today. And also our hero of this complete last 2 3 days, we have been keep on hearing about our hero name, Drupal. So how the Drupal is going to give you the future proof experience, that's our major objective. These are the four things I am like to cover within the next 45 minutes. Let me try to do at my best. Yeah. So, and also I like to introduce the Clara Jan. You can see her picture on the right side in my slide. She's going to be travel across our next 45 minutes. She's my buddy, but she's very naughty. She's going to ask more questions on me. I don't know what she's going to ask a question. Let's see. So website lifespan, right? So website lifespan, when you heard about this term, right? When you just hearing this term, what you are getting in your mind, maybe you will think about, okay, website might be leave until this age, or website might be outdated after this age. Yeah, that's absolutely right. So website will be leave until some amount of time. After that, it will going to be outdated. That's what people started pronouncing into the market today, right? So how they are defining the website lifespan, right? You might be having the question, how they are defining the website lifespan. So one of the popular magazine in the US, 4B, is being released one article which how they are making the website lifespan. That's a source. You can go and click on this link, and you can always have a look on that. After the end of this session, I'll give you the link of this publicly accessible PDF. You can access this. Yeah. And yeah, these are the different questions when you talk about the website lifespan, right? It might be any reason. Within a 2 years, 7 months, your website is getting ending with your lifespan. What could be the reason? It might be any reason. Might be your competitor has been upgraded their website. Your website lifespan has been down, right? Or your trend design, whatever technology you have used it might be gone. Or your uh, the conversion rate for your website, it might be gone. It might be any reason. Thousands of reason can be there, right? But this is a top 10 reason. The magazine has been like they have taken a survey, they have kept it to the stage. So these are the 10 reason they are surprisingly saying it could be the 10 reason could be one of the chances, right? So now we know about website has been having a lifespan about 2 years, 7 months. I hope everyone can see my screen. Am I with you? Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. So website lifespan we have been speaking, right? So how can I get out of this website lifespan? People has been started thinking they have the thousands of questions which we know about the couple of questions why the website has been reaching that lifespan. So how can I overcome that lifespan, which is a 2 years, 7 months? It's too short. I don't know, like a too short. How will you know about it? Because the 2 years, 7 months, you have invested some money on your website. You have to come out of, at least you need to extend the lifespan of the website at least for 5 to 6 years. That the way you will get a benefit onto your business, which you invested onto the website development, right? So that is where you can do it on modern development culture that will help you to extend your website lifespan. That obviously that is a topic of today. Website can be future proof in the nearly future. Oh, my buddy started asking question. What are those, and can you list it out? Okay, she's asking about the modern website culture. Like, what are those modern website cultures? Yeah, I can happy to explain that. But before that, I'll take you into the certain aspect. Yeah, this is what I like you to take it, right? So how the web has been started, right? Web 1.0, web 2.0, web 3.0. That is what the web transformation we are seeing in the internet, right? So first web 1.0, it was been very early stage of internet. People start to know about the internet. They are more curious. Okay, internet is something is there. Okay, if somebody is sitting in the computer, they are watching the internet or they are accessing the Google Meets, they will be looking at them like, okay, you have a lot of knowledge. That's a time of 1991. That's the time it will be started. So people has been looking at the guys whomsoever has been accessing computer and the Google. So that time people want to showcase their content. I am doing some business. I want to showcase some content. That's a web 1.0. It doesn't have any interactive with the customer. But 2.0, it's been introduced the interactive with the customer. They started introducing forms. They started introducing the blogs. They started introducing applications, interactive applications, and slightly games also has been come into the picture. All the things has been happened into the web 2.0 period, right? And web 3.0, which we are now, right? So web 3.0, I published my content in 1.0. I started interacting with my customer, that 2.0. And 3.0, I need to know what my customer is doing in my website and what is the interested product for them, right? I maybe listed a 10 to 20 product in my website, but I need to know which product they are interested, right? And also my website has to be somewhere into the safe and secure. That's what the cloud transformation. And the semantic web experience, artificial intelligence, which is more important today, right? And whenever you running out of something on your maybe in the petrol or something, right, you will get SMS in your mobile with through the apps, which is artificial intelligence. So those are the things we have started interacting with the customer. We are more and closely, and we are targeting their behaviors as well. That's about 3.0. So that this transformation has been made. If you see, you can see the every 10 years once. We are almost there for the next transformation ready, right? So now web 3.0 is our running time, right? So let's see. We saw about the web 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. But at the same time, I don't know how to approach my website on this any of the period, right? How can I make it my website? That is my way of approach. Basically, website has to be approached with your three concepts, right? One is about business, design and technology, and marketing. Business, I'll give you example. I am a bakery guy. I am going to sell my cakes and cookies. That's my business. And I want to make it a more trendy website with a more and more user experience with the technology, maybe modern tech stack, CMS, all the technology introducing and extraordinary user experience with a couple of steps. They might be able to purchase the product within a couple of steps and more user experience oriented website. That's a design and technology, right? And marketing. I'm just had my business, which is about my business is being hosted, and technology design has been derived on my website, and marketing, I want to sell this product to the outside world. That's a next example I'm giving you, which is more tasty. You can see it might be more appeal to you. So that's about my bakery business. So my my business concept is cake selling. In technology, I'm going to put it on top of the design, and I'm going to make it more appeals, like looks more appeal. And the marketing, I'm going to sell it to the someone which is more trendy way of my teddy is going to sell to someone, right? My teddy is basically my website today. So that's how we can see the website as a how it has been approaching into the modern world. So we have just started our this session, like about the web transformation and lifespan, and about the how what are the areas you can approach your website. So like these are the things we have came across so far. Now let's take a real-time scenario, and we'll hear about the one of the real-time requirement, and we'll look on top of that how can we achieve our modern web development culture. That's our which obviously it is a term of how to make your future-proof website, right? So Mr. Kennedy is my buddy, and he's having a bakery business. His bakery name is Beck Plus Curry, and he's been running his bakery last 4 years into the Washington, and he's been having a lot of business, and he's having 1 million of revenue, and he's having a lot of varieties actually, cakes, burgers, breads, cookies, all the stuff he's having. He just planning to expand his business into the next level, which is about he's planning to develop a website, which he has a thought process. Okay, if I invest the website, it should be something reasonable, and I should get a benefit out of my website. That's what his thought process. So that's what he started listing the requirement in front of me. So you can see user-friendly SEO. He clearly made the point, user-friendly SEO, and should be loaded fastly. My website should be loaded fastly, and don't want to invest more on to the beginning of any security or hosting companies, right? Because you don't know how the business is going to hit, right? And I might be having a different branch in the next 10 years. I might be have the branches with the different branches, different countries, different cities. So at the same time, I must be able to create my different pages with my content author experience, right? That's what is another requirement. And is clear. And one of the most important things is mentioned about trendy. You want a more trendy design, right? Trendy design, and it should be handled by non-technical people. It should not be a bottleneck of only tech guy can handle the website, right? And the most important things is the last point. He want to access this website from the any device, maybe laptop, tablet, mobile, and the desktop, anywhere, right? So this is what my buddy Mr. Kennedy requirement, right? So I'm going to take it about this point on the real-time scenario. I'm going to give you the solution on top of this. How are we going to approach and give the solution for Mr. Kennedy? So Kennedy is our real-time scenario, and let's go and take it on the modern development culture. So things you cannot ignore in the today world to make your website as a future-proof, like. So let's get into that. What is the things? That's my question of my buddy Clara, right? Clara has already started asking about that. Let me get into the concept. So what are the things can make me as a future-proof, right? One is a PWA, which is a progressive web app, and accelerated mobile pages, which is AMP, and low-code interface, decoupled approaches, and cloud computing, DXP, data security, responsive design, web vitals, right? These are the different aspects which will make your website as a future-proof, right? You might be seeing some of the boxes on each and every content. Some of the boxes is a blue color M, some of the boxes as a O, which is a different color, right? So when you say about the M and O, so M is a more mandatory for any website development. You should follow if you want your website has to be a future, right? And optional, which is a O, we mean it as optional. That is depends on your business scenario, whether you want to go or how you want to approach the things. So these all it depends on your O. So whether it might be you might be for cost constraint, or your website doesn't need to be get into this culture. So it is all depends on the real-time business requirement. This O attributes can be participated. So now let's jump into the each and everything, like web vitals. That's the first thing I want to discuss. So, and also I like to recollect this time, Mr. Kennedy point here, right? He clearly mentioned, I want a user-friendly on SEO and optimized pages. That is where my web vitals is going to help me. Oh, Clara started asking question. What is this Clara question? How web vitals are contributing to end user experience? That's a good question. That's what I'm going to jump in now. So when you see about the web vitals, you can see the three elements attributing to the web vitals. First of all, web vital, the term, it has been derived from the Lighthouse. There is a famous tool called Lighthouse that has been acquired by the Google. It was there a couple of years before the tool called Page Insight, Speed Insight. Now they have been made into the different form of that. That's a web vital. They get it. The Page Insight, if you see, that has a 5 sectors of the page loading time. It will have the measurements of 5 elements. Now they have reduced and they can make it into the LCP and sorry, one second, my power has got gone. And first element is LCP, which is the largest contentful painting. So basically, what does this LCP means? When you hit a browser URL into your browser on the mobile page or the desktop, it will start loading your page at the first time. Those elements, whatever you are placing in the website, right? Images, videos, blogs, paragraphs, articles, all that HTML tags. Those are the tags which is mainly contributing to the LCP, right? So those are the tags should not be too heavy. That's a major aspect we like to mention here. It has to be more optimized way. If you are uploading some image into the page, it has to be so and so size on the KBs. It should be. Like if you wanted more, like give it a must user experience, you can use it SVG with a different optimized way, and technicals you can use it. That's about the LCP, which is a first way of looking into your web vitals. And the second thing is about FID, first input display. So that's about the first concept is about LCP, and second is about FID. LCP is going to look you on the page load, how long the page has been taking a load to keep all the elements. And the FID is going to be measure about your input elements interaction delay, right? So when you enter some element in the text box will accept your things, and when you hit a button, how long this has been interaction taking the time to handle the event, right? That is about the FID. So these are the different measurements. That's what I clearly mentioned in the image. Good, needs improvement, poor. So when it is crosses the 300 milliseconds, it's a poor. You cannot do that way, which will not make your website as a future proof. And the third element, which is about CLS, cumulatively layout shift. So what will happen when you start interacting with one of the element, right? You might be want to load it something differently, or you want to load it some specific container separately. So when you load it something, the action when it rendering in your page, those element has to be place it again in the same place within the 0.1 millisecond. That second has to be performed, right? So otherwise, if it is increase the stuffs, it will be needs improved scale, which will come 0.25. And when it is increased that, it will be a poor cycle, right? So these are the things you have to be more conscious when you consider for website for the future proof, right? And I like to give you a couple of module links here, which is our Drupal supportive, lazy loading, image optimization, minifying, bulk minifying on the CSS, JSS. These all directly will help you to optimize your pages for Web Vital standards, right? And you can use these tools, which will be a Google supported tools, and that will help you to give the score, which we are speaking about the 3 stages, right? LCP, FID, and CLS. Those 3 stages it will help you to find it how much your website has been scored it. Even you can take your website URL now and you can start looking for the score. As soon as you have the score in this range of the threshold, you start improving those things. That will become a more better user experience it will gain for your website. Yeah, and these are the other more important modules you also to be know for your Drupal development, which is more attributed to the Web Vitals. Redirect, link checker, CDN module. CDN modules, obviously it will be a third party, but obviously it will increase your performance of the website, right? And search 404 and language, the href lang, and and Blazy images, image optimization. These are all the steps which will help you to make you the Drupal development more faster, right? So we have seen about that one of the future-proof element, which is about Web Vitals. But Web Vital, I want to know how it is impacting reality in the web experience. If you see this number, 57%, it's very, very high. The poorly designed website, people is not recommending anywhere into the outside. If I am a user, if I load any of the website, if the website is being designed poorly, designed sense it is not the user experience, it's about the technical as well, right? So designed poorly, if that has been making in the mobile, people is not recommending to anyone. That's a nature of the people, because they are expecting things more faster, right? So that's a reality we should know at the same time, right? Yeah, Clara started asking the question, what does that? I can understand that there is a way to implement in Drupal, but do you have any proven report? Absolutely. That's a good question. We have a proven report, right? So this is a source. You can find it. Google Web Vital has been provided. One of the good news is that Drupal is the one and only CMS which has been marking the Web Vitals the scores on the top of any CMS into the market. If you see the left side table, there is a second column, percentage good CWV, which is a Web Vital core Web Vitals. Drupal is the top, 46.18%. Drupal core itself has a capability to meet the Web Vitals, which is very interesting, right? And we have to be proud to be a Drupal user. So this is about and source link I have provided. You can go and visit this. It has been live link. Anytime you can add any technology against with the Drupal, and you can check how it has been making the things better onto whether the Drupal is going to be a top, on other things is going to be top. So far, when I compare the leading CMS in the market, Drupal is a top. Yeah, I'm jumping into the next concept about the PWA and AMP, which is most important. I like to recollect the point again with the Kennedy point. Kennedy wanted one more point. He mentioned very clearly, website should load fastly, website should be accessible from any device, right? So that is what PW and AMP. PW basically progressive web page can be accessed in the the mobile, that can be installable format as well. The AMP basically you can keep the web page in the different markup of AMP. At the same time, it will load faster. And the reality, I also like to collect it here, because we have to be more reality, right? That just a concept of knowing the things, it will not help you. But how the market has been trending also we should know. That's a 39% of the people stop engaging your website if image is been not loaded faster. That's a too bad, right? 39%, again, it is a big. People stopping engaging with your website if image is loads faster, slower, right? It's taking your load like a long time to load. That's a very serious problem. We have to addressing in your website. So I like to start give you a high level picture of how the PWA is working. PWA, when you look at this, whenever you call some website, it will start caching your pages in the resource, and it will start fetching the faster page loads from but the first time PWA will not have a caching in your mobile. It will start acting from the second time. That's one of the drawback of PWA. But second time onwards, you will see the PWA will start acting in your mobile pages. Very tremendous performance. And also, it will start giving you notifications if you already installed that page in your browser. This is, you have to know. And most important thing, it has offline capabilities. Suddenly the website, the internet has been disconnected your page. Whatever the cached pages, you're still able to review in a browser. That's the most important thing, right? And PWA, again, you can see the one of the module I provided here, Drupal module, which is more important for us to in the Drupal development. And at the same time, I want to point out one thing here, which is more real-time oriented, right? Today, we are into the 2020-21. So 2021, we are having the smartphone usage. It's about 900 plus millions, right? But if you take it next 20 years after, we are going to be double, which is 1,500, 1500 millions we are going to be here. So obviously, in that context, future-proof, the word has been more valid sense for the mobile optimization, right? That's what I can understand from this graph. This graph has been made by Statistica, which has been very trusted resource company of the graphics. So you can go and look at the source. I've given all the way where I've taken this report. So we have to trust these things. Mobile is going to be future more impact for your web pages on the mobile. And I'll also like to touch with AMP as well, because AMP is most important. I already mentioned PWA and AMP it has been started giving you more flavor to your mobile development. I mean, the web pages looking into the mobile, right? So PWA, it's giving you like a 1 second of loading time, how it is working, right? When the content has been created and HTML has been pushed to your server, the first time, but one thing you have to see here, AMP contents will always have the AMP HTML. You have to develop that separately. But don't worry, for the Drupal users, I already given you module here. You can look up that module. That is going to help you a lot. So that will have the caches. So each and every page will have the search engine caches, which is our Google. Google will keep the caches. Whenever you are hitting the page, it will go and take the data from the Google. So it will not take much time. It will take only the 1 second of time, and every page is once it be AMP cached, right? And also I like to mention one of the drawback here, right? Which is we cannot deny that we cannot track the real time like user activities in the AMP. That's one of the drawback. But anyway, any technology will have the pros and cons. And yeah, Clara has come to the picture. Okay, so when to use a PW, when to use a AMP? That's a really good question. This is what I just put you the two different tables here. So you can see the PWA content and AWA content, which is about the PWA is simple. As I told you, it's the installable format. It is working on top of the 3 elements into the architecture: worker, web app manifest, and app shell. This is a major role it's going to play. And it has offline capabilities, PWA. And when you look at the AMP, it has a cached pages, less than a 1 second you can load the page. And also it doesn't have the too much JavaScript dependent. It is having only one JavaScript, which is AMP library, right? So when you ask when to use when like what component, AMP or PW, it is kind of business requirements question, right? It maybe I'll take you some scenario. Just quickly, I want to touch it. Like I'm going to build one corporate website, which is only the content oriented. In that context, I will not recommend the AMP. I'll go ask them to do it only PW, right? So this is all because AMP will be more oriented when you want it on the product base, which is heavy data, so you have to be loaded. Always you have to give a more faster time. But when you consider for the corporate website, it is just a browser website. Only content is going to do. There is not going to be much activity is going to be present, right? So I'm not seeing the intention to make a AMP there, but we can use a PW. But there are a scenario where you consider for the e-commerce site and all, you can use it both as a combination as well. But at the same time, this all the technology, it has a pros and cons. We cannot have the which is a higher priority or which is a higher value that we cannot predict anywhere, because it's has a own pros and cons. And next thing is very important thing today into the, again I'm coming to the mobile picture, responsive design. And I like to recollect my buddy word here. Mr. Kennedy is asking about design should be more reliable on any device. Obviously, this is a most important thing. When the design should be reliable on any device, right? Obviously, you have to use a responsive design. Responsive, basically, it will start optimize your web page for all the devices, right? Tablet, mobile, laptop, and your desktop, any size of monitor, all the things is going to be responsive. And you have to see the reality here as well. 50% of the e-commerce revenue is coming from the mobile. That's a survey has been saying on the popular e-commerce site, right? And responsive design, if you look at, there are a couple of very important points you have to know when people is building the responsive designs. They have to know the fluid grids, images and breakpoints, SVG and graphics. They have to use it, and they have to use icons appropriate place, and they have to make the content priority is most important, right? How they want to prioritize the content to hide a different device, whether this has to show, that has to show, how they are arranging the things is important, right? At the same time, here there's a couple of useful modules in the responsive. You can have a look. That is going to be more useful for our Drupal development. And yeah, Clara's coming and she's asking how PWA AMP responsive is going to connect. Yeah, are they all same? Might be the good question. So when I mean all we are speaking about the mobile only, right? I'll tell you in simple word. Responsive, it will make web page in a mobile. just a word, web page in a mobile. And the PWA, app in a web browser. Basically, it will give you the button to install your page into you can see in your offline. That's the app in a mobile. And AMP, which will help you to load your pages faster. It's a three different areas, right? This is what high level I like to highlight how it has been differ each other, right? And cloud computing, we cannot eliminate this guy because this guy is going to be a more famous. Last, maybe you can take it as 6 to 7 years, it's been boomed. It has been taken all over the hosting solutions, everything from the different corner. And the Kennedy word also has been very clear. Hosting the website, I don't need heavy investment on the beginning. That's what his word. So cloud computing is going to be very important for us. If you see the cloud computing, last this 2020-21 survey depends on this Statistica report, right? Sorry, Flexera report. They have clearly mentioned people started adapting to the cloud natives on faster. AWS, Azure, and cloud. These are the front runner guys. This is going to be, yeah. Clara started asking how cloud computing directly contributing to the Drupal ecosystem. Obviously, this is a very important thing I need to mention here. Obviously, cloud computing is contributing to the things because cloud computing is going to give you value add to the DevOps, especially for the Drupal native cloud hosting, right? What are the Drupal native cloud hosting? Which is the Pantheon, Acquia platform. They said they are a front runner into the Drupal hosting, and they are giving more Drupal oriented DevOps activities, and we have other folks as well, other Drupal hosting guys, but these are the guys I used my personally. I just recommended. And frontrunner is the cloud hosting, which is overall, if you take it, AWS, Azure, and GCP. So these are the things. And when the answering to the Clara question, right, how it is directly contributing, obviously it will give you the more flexible DevOps tools, and also it is scalable point on any time you can expand your resources, and also it is a data security important, role-based privileges for your optimization. These all you can, once you implement it, you can keep your website for at least for next 6 to 7 years. So next thing, data security is most important at any point. So next, data security, it will help you to gain. Again, the Kennedy's point is, I want to secure my data in case of the content and user information, right? So data security, all the information will be clearly protected onto the Drupal. Drupal has a ability to protect your user information and content author information and everything, and especially onto the DB encryption point and IP-based restriction for your CMS author access. All the things Drupal has been already familiarized. We have the strong ecosystem on the Drupal for the security steps, right? These are the popular model, like modules I like to mention here. These modules have a better point of protecting your Drupal ecosystem onto the user point, content point, and it support the multi-factor authentication for your content authoring. So Drupal already been built a wall for the security, right? And another important thing is, which is low-code platform, right? Low-code platform, which has been started. You can see the load code has been reduced the developer work, and it has been given a more luxury for the content authors to manage their website. And I like to recall my buddy word, Mr. Kennedy, pointers here. Website should be managed by the marketers. They should be able to create a pages themselves, right? So low-code platform, if you look at Drupal already have a very strong background of Acquia. The Acquia has been giving you Site Studio, which has been giving you the extraordinary low-code platform and the content authoring point, right? But the only point is, when if you look at the survey of the Forresters, the last couple of years, it has been started improving the people adapting to the low code in the market. Also, it has been improved, right? And the low code, majorly, it doesn't require the in-person to be knowledge on the coding. They can use it themselves by the marketer, and they can create the pages. They can theme the pages. They can set the color palettes for their website. They can set the regions, layout, everything they can do themselves. And I like to give you the high-level architecture, how it is going to be present in the Drupal. So Drupal, when you are using the Site Studio as the low-code platform, this will give you the value add as an intermediate layer for the UI and the CMS layer. So that will give you the value add to present into the better way of appeal your website managed by the non-technical persons. Yeah, Clara started asking question. Yeah, but low code interface involves extra cost for licensing. Do we have any alternate to that? Obviously, we have the alternate to that. I'll tell you what is that. So alternate to the low code platform, which I will call you personally mini low code platform, which is about layout builder plus CK editor interface in the today Drupal, right? Which is more important. We have been already excited to use the layout builder. It has been introduced in the Drupal 8. In the Drupal 9, it has a lot of features added and bugs are fixes. And layout builder, it has a lot of feature. People started using already, and it has a two different way of connecting together to the people. One is a layout discovery or layout builder, and it will give you the drag and drop interface. You can create each and every component in the page you can template that each and every component. It gives you the more luxury, right, when you building the pages. Wow, super. So she's asking about the interesting point. I like to learn more about the layout builder. Could you please explain? Unfortunately, I have a very less time. Let me give you the link, which has been presented my colleague yesterday. So he's presented detailed presentation about the layout builder. You can click on this presentation. You can go and watch the video. It was very helpful. Even I was very got more information from that. Even we got a very positive comment from the people. And right hand side, if you see all the slide through, I have been maintaining my O and M symbol throughout the slides because I want to give you the very detailed information about this. The option things started from here until the last slide. If you see, it was a mandatory, right? Sorry. Yeah. Low code interface, it started with the until from the low code interface, it started at the optional, right? It is again, even you are not if you are not ready to invest heavy onto your low code interface, the layout builder is giving you the better experience. But again, it has a limitations. If you want to more luxury features, you have to go with the Site Studio onto the context of Acquia and Drupal combination, right? And the other aspect, which is optional to the today world, but it cannot be eliminated anywhere into the any architecture. It depends on the business requirement, whether it is going to be there into place or not. But people will always think about this word, decouple architecture, which is more important today on any of the business solution when people started thinking about it. But only the context, whether it is going to really value add to your business or not, it is going to be about your website culture and website business and how the data has been binded to other website. It is a browser website or a heavy flow website. These all the question is outstanding to how to design my decouple approach can be taken or not. So decouple approach, basically it has a the certain points, but I like to recollect only few points here. When I can choose the decouple approach, that is more important people to know, right? So when I used to choose the decouple approach, I need a future-proof UI. I must be able to remove my UI layer. I can revamp with a different UI layer. Example, today I am using the UI layer for the Gatsby, which is a static search generator, and tomorrow I'm going to use it with a Vue.js, right? So if I want to make it, I can use that different UI layer coupled with the as a headless approach of Drupal, right? That is one of the scenario if you want to change your UI experience into a different tech stack. And I want to keep the isolated environment for my CMS layer, right? In that case, you can go with the decouple approach. At the same time, my CMS should be able to serve into the multiple channels. That is about different channels I need to serve my content. That's about there you can go to with a decouple. And final thing is about my CMS upgrade should not affect my user experience. Obviously, in that context, you can go with a decouple. These are the different points, which is more value added when you choose your decouple approach, whether it is going to be there in your picture or not, right? And what other features which is being value added to the decouple approach when you choose it, it will give you the increased page speed, right? And you don't need to worry about the user experience, and you can always upgrade your UI with the trendy designs. The no page reload at any time. It is give you more smooth transition. And again, this is one of the sample architecture I like to provide you here, how the decouple architecture is going to be connected with has a headless approach with a Drupal, right? And this is a popular SPA, which is a decouple architecture people has been followed, and they have been popular, their success in the market. Gmail, Twitter, Pinterest, and Facebook. These are the guys. And the most important thing, which is last I like to mention about the DXP. You cannot eliminate this word anywhere into the market. in the website development, because people is more interested. As I told you in the beginning of the session, one of the slide I clearly mentioned, Web 1.0, we thought to put up content to the user experience. They will read the content, and the 2.0, we will be having the user interaction. 3.0, we started knowing about the user, right? That's where the DXP is coming into the place. I want to know the user experience, how their journey, what is their journey, how can I connect with them, what is my connectivity with them, what are the product they are interested. All the stuff is coming into the DXP, right? So DXP always, it is taking the business into the next level, right? Marketer can always know about the people into the 360-degree angle, right? Where they are landing, what is their interest, what campaign I can reach it to them, what date they will come to the website, how long they will stay in the website, what browser they are using, all the things of information you can know about the customer. That's DXP is going to play a major role. That's what I want to give you the picture how the DXP is working. If I am a customer, I'm coming and browsing into the different device. I have the tablet, I have the mobile, I have the desktop. I'm browsing into the different device. My data has been flowing around in the different device to your system, right? So I'm grabbing your all the information, where you are accessing, what is your journey, where you are reaching, all the stuffs. So that grabbing the data and showing your interested product is a personalization. That is what it is coming into the first element. And after I grabbing my data, I'll analyze all the data which I received from you, the different device, tablet, mobile, desktop, all the way I'll received you from. All the data I will analyze. That's a common data platform, which is CDP, right? And finally, I got all the data. I know what you are doing and what is your interest and where you are coming, what is your time of coming into the website, from which browser you are accessing. All the information about you I know. I need to reach out to you, write marketing email campaigns. Example, every Saturday, I'm going to sit in the website and browsing about the weekend parties in the city. Then obviously I can reach out to you every Saturday evening in the newsletter. See, Mr. John, you are always having a weekend, having the searching into my website, all this party details. You will always have this information with you on your email every Saturday. So obviously you are connected with the customer. Every Saturday is surfing in the internet and searching for the party details. Obviously you are connected with the customer and you are giving the proper information to him. So that's where the DXP is more important today in the world, right? And another important thing is about the DXP architecture. You need to know how it has been sitting on top of the teams. E-commerce, it's been also connected with the DXP and CDP, personalization, marketing, campaign analytics, asset management for your each and every data, right? And I like to collect this Gartner report. Acquia is being leading one of the leading DXP into the market. They are the leaders. So at last, I'm coming into the climax of the story, right? So at last, we are connecting all the Drupal abilities, and also Mr. Kennedy's ask whether it is meet the modern development culture. The Kennedy ask is SEO. Yes, Drupal has the ability to do it, and it has a model culture, right? We can do that. And marketer ability, yes, Drupal has a ability, and modern development culture, we can able to do that element. And website should be accessible from any device. Yes, the three heroes is there. PWA, AMP, and responsive. This is Drupal has ability, and also is coming under the modern development culture. And hosted, secured hosted, this all coming into the Drupal native hosting companies, and also front runners in the market, which is Azure, AWS, or Pantheon, Acquia, all the stuffs. And the trendy designs, both the Drupals and which is a decoupled way you can do it. All you can do it with the website, Site Studio, all the stuff you can do it, which is having the modern development culture. So this is what Mr. Kennedy asked about, and the Drupal, if we are able to achieve the things on the future proof. So yeah, Clara started asking, what is the proposed architecture? Obviously, I know she will ask this question. That's what I already prepared. This is what the proposed architecture, which is the UI layer, should be all together with this. And the components should be in UI and layout builder with the CK editor, which is very optimized way of architecture I'm giving. I'm not introduced here Site Studio. The proposed architecture, because the Kennedy's point is he want to spend less money into the initially. He don't want to spend a license cost of Site Studio. Then he can always use the CK editor, layout builder, all the stuffs combination, right? And cloud hosting. So yeah, she's asking. So if I build this website with the architecture in the future, I Don't need to think about updating the design. Oh, this is a big question. So she's asking about if I build a website, I don't think about the upgrade and redesign in the future. That's not a case actually. We are saying we are here to help them extending the lifespan of the website, not to give the undefined lifespan limit. So that's not going to happen because we are in the world of change is only permanent thing in this world. So always any technology can boom. So we are transformed from the 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. So we are into 3.0 with all the things, and we should follow the modern development cultures, whatever the elements I mentioned. If we follow the modern development culture, we can able to expand the lifespan of the website, not permanent solution, because we will have the different trendy technology in another 5 to 6 years. Yeah, that's all about my topic. Yes, Clara saying thank you. Finally, she's accepted all the steps. Thank you very much for this session.
Thank you so much, Gopinath. Unfortunately, we are out of time for Q&A, but I'm sure that if anyone here has any questions, they can reach out to you on social media or on the chat. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining.
Yeah. Thank you very much, everyone.